Hey there guys, Action here. Today we're going to talk about the patch 14.1. We're basically new season. Before I start this, I want to say that I know I've been super inconsistent with YouTube and everything. So this year I'm willing to work on it. So I decided that I wanted to help you a little bit with the new items on the support role pretty much and the new map changes. So we're going to go through this together. Make sure you don't skip the video in parts so you don't miss any important information. I'm going to put my idea and what you should focus on and what you should not focus on, what you should buy and what you should not buy. Generally, I'll get you through the new items for specifically for the support role. So let's get started. I'm going to skip information that we don't really need to, go through. Um, Um, all right. So Riot Fest is changing how the Herald is working, how the Voidlings, which is like something new in the game, is working into the game. So there are some Voidlings that spawn at 5 minutes into the game. Each Void Crab will spawn 4 Void Mites every 12 seconds in combat. Void Crabs can respawn once per game, as each one has their own individual respawn timer of 4 minutes. So feel free to just take one and walk away. On death, Void Crabs will give other nearby Void Crabs a maximum health. There are a lot of statistics in this. So I recommend you guys go through this and read it. But basically, the game is giving you those void crabs. This is something that I would like if the jungler decides to take everybody in the team across the map, are holding them, and then when you attack structures, you're getting those voidlings to void mines to basically help you push the towers. Um, all right. I want mainly to focus on the map changes, not as much on those map changes and support items. That's what we're gonna do in this one. Um. Okay. All right. So we're gonna go and talk about a little bit about the map, about the changes, and how this will affect the game in general. So about the top side, they made this sort of like alcove here, which I think in general the map changes into the game are kind of like denying and making like the jungler having harder like ganks in general. You guys will see also in mid lane is super harder, like harder than top lane, and also harder like than bot lane. But you will see there are like different paths in general. So for top side, I'd say that it might be maybe the easier one, like maybe like it's still unclear. We'll see into the game most of it, but the hardest part is obviously the mid lane. Mid lane is looking like an ocean. Like this is just huge, as you can see here. The bush instead of here, it's here. It's so hard for you to even gank, maybe like to even like roam as a support. Maybe it's like easier to go this path. Like people might not like if someone is here, for example, it's just easier to go through this path and just even like take a tower shot and just go for the gank. Like, I mean, it looks like a lot easier. Um, but yeah, let's move to the bot side, which is the most important, obviously, since we are support mains. Um, so we have the change of this tri-bush and this bush, the pixel brush. I'd say that from my perspective, like with a quick look, a lot of people will just go straight up and ward here. Like I don't necessarily like that. Let's say if you're on this side of the map, which is the blue side, if you're gonna ward here, you kind of like okay denying. Like let's say he moves, like the jungler is moving this way, or if they move this way, you see them. But if they decide to move this way on the back and come this way, you don't really get protection from that, which is like obviously basically the same like ideas before the changes. But what I will like really like to do on this on the previous map was to ward over here, and get like vision for like in case the jungler decides to go from on the backside or something. I'd say now a good idea is to maybe don't even ward on the pixel brush and maybe ward here so you can at least have a little bit more area of here, you know? Like if someone is going to walk out of that bush, you're gonna see them. If they're gonna move like here, you're gonna see them. If you put it a little bit up, you don't want to move like lose this spot. But warding over here, I think it's kind of tricky. It's not like something that you need early on. I'd say for me, it's always good to deep ward. I always say that, and have like vision as much as possible on your side before the enemy even gets super close to you. So the further you can get the vision and like deny the enemy from ganking you, the better it is. But of course, you don't want to like basically you want to like, especially early on in the game, you want to cover as much as spots as possible for the like not only for your bot lane but also for the rest of your team. So we're gonna see those in the game and we'll like figure out things. All right, so there are different also position for brushes like this one. But yeah, as we can see from this angle of the map, if you do ward here, you're gonna get a little bit more vision of this side. So yeah. All right, so let's move down to items. Rift Maker. This is the major items. I'm pretty sure we're gonna see some of them into support role. For example, Zyra and Xerath, and maybe Swain support. So let's go through these items because they might be mage items, but some of them might be useful for the supports. Rift Maker. I think this one is not for support at all, so we're not gonna go read that. So we're gonna go with Malignance. So total cost 2008. It's kind of like expensive, but it gives 80 ability power, 20 ability haste, and 600 mana. You gain also 20 ability haste for your ultimate. Whenever you damage an enemy champion with your ultimate, burn the ground beneath them for 3 seconds, dealing 60 plus 6% AP magic damage every second and reducing their magic resistance by 1 per user level for as long as they can are on the burning ground. So like this is mostly focused on like supports like Swain. Like okay, Swain can also be playing on mid lane, but if you're gonna play support Swain, I think this one is definitely for Swain. Then I guess for mid lane is Malzahar, I guess, or like Anivia. But if you want to play Anivia support, it's super useful. Luden's Companion is like the change of like Luden's Echo, Luden's Tempest. So this one is it's having some extra damage. It does have like some extras. They did change a little bit. Yeah, I'd say you normally don't want to pick that maybe on supports. Maybe on Lux bot lane. I think Lux bot lane should be fine. So like super like pokey champions. But that's definitely gonna leave you squishy. We're gonna have like a look on the rest of the items, and then we can go back and see if it's actually viable on supports. Storm Surge. Storm Surge. After 2 seconds, Storm Surge strikes the target, lightning dealing. That looks like mostly AP burst damage item. I don't know if this is gonna possibly benefit again Lux. Maybe Xerath too, maybe as a support. But yeah, probably like super like damage, like poking damage dealer champions, AP mages basically. But make sure that like all those items that leave you completely squishy, and you have to always like think of your position a lot. Okay, so this item should not be picked on support. Liandry's is an item that can be still useful on champions like Brand, champions like Zyra. So definitely still viable. The only change on it is damage cap to monsters per second. They change it only in jungle. So I guess Brand jungle is nerfed right now. Just because of this item. Horizon Focus should be viable still on Xerath. Um, okay. Creep Bloom. This item. Okay, I just had a look on this and it's so weird. This item looks super useless. Like, it does give you ability power, it does give you ability haste, magic penetration. It costs super. It's quite expensive, but the passive that gives you is not even worth it. Like it says, whenever you get a takedown on an enemy champion within 3 seconds of damaging, of wait, with 3 seconds of damaging them, create a healing nova on their location that heals allies for 50. Now you guys gonna ask me, like, is this gonna be useful for AP mages that want to support a little bit the team? Yes, it can be, but the numbers that gives are super small. Like 50 healing, no, like plus 50 AP. I mean, it's like the numbers looking super inaccurate. Like, no, 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 no. All right, we move on. I think that yeah, this item is no big X. Don't pick that item. Shadow Flame. Shadow Flame must be now useful mostly. Again, mostly on mid laners as it used to be. We're not gonna pick that on support. It also costs like super expensive, 3,200. Should not be picked on support. Um, yeah, we'll see if Zonya's gonna be still useful in scenarios where, let's say, you wanna pick it on your enchanter because you wanna like deny, let's say, Karthus ultimate. But maybe we'll see the support items, and maybe there are better options for that. You guys will see because I went through the items, and there should be like a better option. So something that we used to do before, picking Zonyas in super like hard situations where you're facing, let's say, Karthus, as I say, or an assassin, and you kind of like want to protect yourself with Zonyas. No, it also costs a lot more. It's like 3,250. So maybe we see here that Riot did it for the purpose of like, this is a mid laner item and it should not be picked on supports. So we move on to Banshee's Veil. It's still a no, super expensive, not for support. Vernal Barrier, it's okay, it's a core item. Archangel Staff. This is an item I used to pick on Sona. I think. Hold on. Total cost. It's still 3,000. Yeah, this is probably an item for supports, probably for Sona. It might be also useful on Zilean. Yeah, they did increase the ability haste. They did give a lot more mana. Also, they increased the ability power. This item must be still useful on Sona. Mostly on that champion. Mm, mm. They upgraded Xerath. They upgraded Xerath's Empress. It doesn't give any more the health. Upon taking damage, that will reduce. Okay, this is unchanged. Yeah, we have to also check that in game and see if this is gonna be still useful. I'd say it will be even if they remove the health. But checking the support items, we might still get better options than this one. Voice staff should not be picked on supports. Rod of Age is the same. Should not be picked on supports. Lich Bane not for supports. Narcissus Tooth, no. Morellonomicon. So Riot is making this item mostly. So Riot actually removed the it should not be here, right? So yeah, they did remove Shadow Queen, Everfrost, Liching Leah, Deponic. Okay, those are not for support. But we'll see later that Riot removed the Chemtech. So you guys gonna ask me how am I going to reduce the enemy healing? So this is the item, and they dropped the total cost from 3,000 to 2,200 because they want you to pick this item on support. So this is going to be a support item, and because mages have so many like options on items now, and so many like different paths because there are obviously too many items and no mythics. Riot wants you to pick it on support if it's needed. So if you're facing Sona, if you're facing like Soraka, and on top of that, they have Vladimir, they have Gwen, they have those type of champions that they heal a lot, and Hecarim, you know, multiple like healers. You're gonna probably need like to pick this item for your team, and because it costs only 2,200, you might also pick it early on in the game, as like I don't know, even like second item maybe. Like if you need it on the laning phase, you probably need to pick like as core item the orb, to reduce the item, the healing. I mean, and then later on like upgrade it as soon as you get your first item. We'll see. So the problem here is that you move the magic penetration from 10 to 0, and the health from 200 it goes to 0. That's kind of sad, but they do add ability haste, which is something super important for supports. And they have the ability power on 90. So imagine 2,200 gold for 90 AP. That's quite good. So let's move on. Fighter and diver. This is not for us. This is not for support. This is for top laners. So we're not gonna go through that unless it has like any support items. No, or something that support can speak. So tank and support tank items. So those like following items can be picked on tanks and on supports. Let's see. They're removing Radiant Virtue. Super broken item. It's over. It's done. Gargoyles don't play, something that a lot of people weren't even picking. And Aegis of Legion also removed, and Even Shroud also not super useful back in then. So let's go. Hollow Radiance, 2,800, super expensive. Taking or dealing damage causes you to begin dealing. No, this is not for support. Let's move on. Also 2,800, that is not for support. No, this is not for support. Let's go ahead. Kenic, if I'm pronouncing correct, Kenic Rukern, 2,100 must be expensive. Yeah, it is, but it gives 400 health, 80 magic resistance, 150 base health regeneration, and after not taking damage from champion for 12 seconds, gain a magic shield for 20% of your maximum health. Now, this item is looking super good if you're playing against tons of AP enemies. Even if this item is super costly, like maybe you can still pick it only in times where the enemies are super like AP heavy. Let's go next. Heartsteel, that's more so support. Now, Trailblazer. This is a support item. This is sort of like same as almost like Deadman's Blade. So the total cost is 2,400. It's super low. It's super good for support. It says that it gives you 250 health, 40 armor, 5% bonus movement speed. Now, the passive. While moving, build up 20 bonus move speed at maximum stacks. Leave a trail that raises allied champions' movement speed by 15 of your movement speed. Your next attack discharges build up move speed for melee champions at top speed. The attack also slows the target by 50 for 1 second. Now, this item doesn't look as strong, but I'd say that if you want to if you're facing full AD teams, this is the item to go for sure. This is like super good to pick it, since it gives you armor, but it doesn't give you magic resist. So there might be like better options than this one, and this one is sort of like a situational item and should not be picked or rushed. It's a good idea to pick it if you roam, but then again, you should always think of the stats. It doesn't really give you the stats that we want. So if you're facing full AD team, can be super useful. Also can be useful if you don't really have a crazily like engaging team. So let's go ahead. Zeke's converges. So this item costs 2,200 as it was, super cheap and super useful. When you cast your ultimate, gain an ice storm around yourself for 5 seconds. The storm deals 50 magic damage per second and slows enemies inside for 30%. This item is so good. The passive is insane. It does give you, like as I said above, like this one gives you only 40 armor and 250 health. So it's sort of like you don't want to like rush an item like this, but maybe something like this, or maybe Locket of the Iron Solaris. So like it gives you 200 health, 250 mana, 30 armor, 20 ability haste, which ability haste is super important on supports. So yeah, though that item does it's super situational. Locket of the Iron Solari. It costs 2,200 as it used to. Super cheap also. And the bad thing is they dropped the ability haste from 20 to 10. But the active is still good. It's probably the pick to go most of the games for tanks. Locket of the Iron Solari. It will be the most bought item, and yeah, super solid in most situations. They remove the passive ground nearby allies, armor, and magic resistance. Yeah, they removed that. So Warmugs, they did remove the ability haste. Something that is sad because the only probably champion on support that can be maybe make use of it is probably Soraka. So I don't know if like it's a good idea to pick it now because it costs 100 gold more. It does give you 5% movement speed, but it does reduce like they reduce the health from 800 to 750, and yeah, and they also remove the ability haste, which is something that Soraka needs. So yeah, maybe we'll get better options. But yeah, like this item is probably not pickable anymore on supports. Jax of the Protein, not for support. Denman's Plate, we talk about it. You guys, if you want to go something like that, you pick the Trailblazer. Not the Denman's Plate is not for supports. Radwin's Omen can be still useful on supports when you're facing critical jammies that do a lot of critical strikes. Super situational also. You're facing, let's say, Tryndamere, Yi, stuff like that. So armor 60 goes from 60 to 55. Yeah, super. It's still okay. Not so expensive. It's mostly situational item as it used to be before too. So Force of Nature. This is an item that some supports might pick because let's say you're facing a heavy AP team. But if you want to pick something to deny the AP damage, now your choice should be this item, the Kennec Bokan, because it does give you the magic shield, and it's just looking better for supports. So yeah, Icebound Gauntlet, no. Winner's Approach, it costs less now, 2,400. It might be useful, but I'd say this item is like you built this item through tier, right? So maybe the only champion that can benefit from that is Taric. So I guess definitely with this cost, it looks super, super good for Taric. Sunfire Ages, not for support. Knightsvow it wasn't really a good item before, and it's even worse now since they removed even stats from it, like from the best health regeneration from 125% goes to 0. I mean, yeah, and they do give a little bit more armor, but they reduce the health. I mean, I just don't think it's a good idea. It's a good of an item. As before, it wasn't even a good item. So Frozen Heart, super also situational item. Super useful when you want to face teams that do a lot of attack speed. So yeah. A sunset item. So we're gonna skip on that. I'd say there are a few items that like Pyke can probably like benefit, like this one, or maybe Senna. Yeah, those items are still probably useful in Senna, like this one. I don't think that changed much for the building path for Pyke and Senna on this. Marksman, we skip that. And let's go now to support items. So we're talking about the support items before. Basically, it was mainly the tanks. It was just mixed up. But this one is the main support items, like your quest, your warding item, World Atlas. So all support items, the spell thieves, the relic shield, the steel shoulder guards are removed. now everything is combined to one item. That is called World Atlas. So the cost is 400, 30 health, 25 mana regeneration, 25 health regeneration, 3 gold per 10 seconds. And now what happens is basically this item gives you gold when you execute minions, when you know of like hit them at the last bar, HP bar of the minion, and you also get gold by hitting the enemies with abilities or with attacks. You're gonna get a lot more by attacking the enemies, not by attacking the minions. Now, I'm gonna talk about the numbers and you guys will see on your own. So you basically get 30 gold if you go melee against enemies. You get 30, and if you're ranged and you attack them, you're gonna get 28 gold. Killing a minion, you will get 20. Now that doesn't mean that your ADC won't get the full amount of that X minion. For example, you're attacking a cannon, you take a cannon at like minute 2 or 3, minute 3. That cannon will give to your ADC the fixed amount of 60 gold. You are the only one that will get 20 gold. Now, the idea of this is that it's like a priority on top of another priority. You want to attack the cannon and secure that for your teammate under the turret, CS like under the turret. And let's say you are under pressure under that turret, and you want to help your ADC to take the most far from it, and the ones that he's about like they're about to miss. The other idea is like if your ADC recalled and you're still healthy on the lane and they're coming back, or they die, they're coming back and you're still on the lane. If they're about to they are trying to catch up, do not try to use the gold. Do not be greedy to attack the enemies. Just attack the cannon or the minion that your ADC is super close and cannot bridge in time. So you can basically they're about to catch up the lane and you just help them to get that gold that they about to miss. So don't prioritize on attack the enemies there. Just prioritize on giving the gold to your teammate. So it's like that. You prioritize the attacking the enemies, but when it's needed, you prioritize supporting your teammate and giving them the gold as secure the cannon, secure CS that they're about to miss. So yeah. A good idea is to always have a stack. Do not use them immediately, all of them. So that can also give you a little bit of not spamming, not spam your mana and run out of mana. Think about it a little bit. So yeah. Stacks. So the stacks start later. Something I wanted to mention here and note is the stacks start a lot later in the lane. As far as I checked out, the first stack that you gain, so basically War Atlas give you 3 stacks. Before, you used to charge a lot earlier. Now you charge around on the second wave. On the second wave, you're gonna get the first stack. What that means? That means that you can no longer push for the level 2, meaning that we are sort of right now, sort of denying the level 2 jumps where the enemy team just got level 2 with that execution of the minion, and they just aggressively engage in you and try to get that advantage by killing you or taking your flashes and etc. So we're not gonna see that anymore because the stacks do load up a lot later. So let's move on. So World of Atlas, when you reach 500 gold, it's going to evolve to Runic Compass. Runic Compass is going to give you extra health from 30 to 100, from 25 mana regeneration and health regeneration to 50, and the 3 gold per 10 seconds will go to 5 per second, 5 gold per second, per 10 seconds. Sorry. So when you get this item on 1000, it's going to upgrade to a new item. So the thing is, this item not only gives you more gold in every 10 seconds, it's also going to give you a lot more gold when you're attacking with melee and when you're attacking with ranged. So this item will upgrade a lot faster to Bounty of Worlds than the first stage, which is World Atlas to Runic Compass. So we said that World Atlas is going to upgrade to this with 500 gold. When this one reaches to 1,000, is going to upgrade to Bounty of Worlds. So you may notice a Bounty of Worlds is almost exactly the same item as Runic Compass. Well, you notice right. Bounty of Worlds is an in-between state that allows the item to upgrade into the 5 support items. So when you get the 1,000, your icon will change to this, and then above that on your items, it will show 5 options. Those 5 options are the following items we're gonna talk about. So those items, by the way, you don't need to go back to base. You can immediately see, like, above your items, a small banner. You click on of the 5 options of the items you're gonna get from this, and you get it immediately. You don't need to reset on the base. So back to base. So yeah. So all the items will share, all these 5 items will share the same stats: 200 health, 75 mana regeneration, 75 health regeneration, 5 gold per 10 seconds. This is something standard for all the 5 items, but their passive change. So we have the very first item, the very first option that Riot gives us here is Celestial Opposition. So again, I'm mentioning you cannot pick 2 or 3 of this, only 1. So your decision is super, super important. The good thing is, like, the good thing about this is that you have time to actually like think about it through the game and how things are going to, decide what is more useful depending on the enemies you're facing and obviously how the game is progressing. So Celestial Opposition passive, Blessing of the Mountain. All right, so become blessed to reduce incoming champion damage by 35 melee, 25 range, lingering for 2 seconds after taking from a champion. When the shield breaks, unleash a shockwave around you that slow nearby enemies by 50 for 1.5 seconds. Effect refreshes after leaving combat for 20 seconds. So basically, you're getting a shield that is gonna break after some seconds after you get some damage. It's sort of like the crown that mid laners used to have. So this item is super, super useful for tanks, but it can also be useful for enchanters that they kind of want to deny enemies from assassinating them. Basically, as I said it, assassins. You need to kind of, like, if you feel like you're in a threat, you're gonna pick this item to deny. Let's say you're playing Soraka or Janna and you feel like you kind of need that. Pick it to deny the Zed, the Akali, all those, super assassin champions. Nocturne, for example, they have a Nocturne and they keep ulting you. You pick this upgrade. So let's move to the next one. The next one is Solstice Slay. So Solstice Slay is a little bit of meh as an item. It's a little bit problematic, and you guys will see why. So slowing or immobilizing an enemy champion grants you a nearby ally with the lowest amount of health, 120 bonus health and 90 movement speed for 4 seconds. So I'd say this item, like, is good for tanks like Nautilus and Braum, because you can kind of like engage and then your ADC can catch up. Since you immobilize the enemy, they immediately, your ADC is getting, the burst of like movement speed and they can catch up. But the problem here is, like, in team fights, you cannot really target someone. Like, it gives to the nearby ally with the lowest amount of health. So it's not like you can choose which teammate will get that extra bonus health and that extra like movement speed. So that's why I said it's a little bit problematic. It doesn't really give you specific like what you want. If you could choose a teammate to bound in or something, and be able to also change it, that'll be super useful. But now it's a little bit Blood Song. After using an ability, your next attack is enhanced with an additional 150% based AD damage on hit 1.5-second cooldown. If the target is a champion, apply exposed weakness, increasing the damage they take by 12. Melee 8%, 8% for range for 6 seconds. So basically, this item is super useful for Senna. And I'd say might be also useful for Pyke and maybe Ashe support. Yeah, mainly those. I'd say no one else. Dreammaker. So Dreammaker is basically the supports. Oh wait, I forgot to mention that this item can also be the celestial position might be also useful for Pyke. Something that I would love to have is like more tankiness. So maybe if you don't feel like going like this, I think celestial can be super useful on Pyke too, because you do get the benefits, and you do sort of getting some protection. So it can be sometimes useful to even pick this on Pyke and not go Blood Song. So Dreammaker. Dreammaker is mostly, I'd say, for enchanters. Gain a blue Dream Bubble and a purple Dream Bubble every 8 seconds. Healing and shielding another ally blows both Dream Bubbles to them and empower them for 3 seconds. Blue Bubble reduces 140 incoming damage on the next hit, and Purple Bubble grants 90 bonus magic damage on the next hit. Basically, this item, what's like, to me, it looks like you can make use of like on Enchanter this item too. Sort of like, oh, you're healing your teammate. But think about it. Like Salty Slay, you're giving health to a teammate as a tank. You know, tanks don't heal, so you get the heal that you're missing. With this item on your enchanters, you do empower that healing. You give them like the shield that you know, that give them the extra damage. So sort of like I want to say that like you can still pick this item on Enchanter. Like to me, it can still look useful. But this one is definitely the best and probably like your main option. This item does reduce the damage for your teammate, for your ally, and the differences between this one is like you can choose your teammate, you target them, which with this item you don't. So maybe I'm wrong here. Actually, I'm wrong. Should not be picked on enchanters. This one should be picked. This one is sort of like, as I said, for tanks, because you don't heal as a tank. You give health with your teammates, and you give them the burst of movement speed. So you can catch up. Yeah, it's definitely for tanks. This is for enchanters, the Dreammaker, and you also give your ADC a little bit of AP damage on their hit. So yeah, super good for enchanters. I like this one. Maybe the only bad part of this is like the seconds here. The cooldown is 8 seconds. Is kind of long. This one has 20 seconds. That's crazy. 20 seconds is a lot. So yeah, I'm gonna say here, when you pick this item, make sure that you don't waste the bubbles. Meaning that as soon as you heal or shield an ally, you're gonna give them the buff, right? So you don't want to like spam randomly because you just wanted to spam, because that's going to put like the Dreammaker into cooldown for 8 seconds, and then maybe the next 5 seconds something will happen and you won't have it. So sort of like kind of like minimize on spamming the shield if it's not needed, or the heal. Like let's say, oh, they're taking minions and they're getting a little bit of attack damage, like I don't know, from minions. If it's not like too critical, don't shield them, don't heal them, don't waste your Dreammaker, I'd say. Especially when you feel like that, oh, maybe something will happen because enemies are close. If they're not super close and you know you're super sure about that, then okay. But yeah, keep that in mind as a note. So next one, Zaxax Realm Zazax Realm Spike. This item is dealing an ability damage to a champion, causes an explosion at their current location that damages the target and nearby enemies, dealing 50 plus 3% maximum health magic damage. Capped at 300 against monsters, 9 to 9 to 6 seconds cooldown depending on the level you are. This item is for mages. Lux support, Zyra support, Brand support, Xerath support. Yeah, you upgrade your quest, you upgrade your support item into that if you are playing super AP champion. I guess that can be super useful also on Morgana, but Morgana can also benefit from this item. Okay. So yeah, basically, I'd say this item can also be useful on Karma, for example, for the extra damage. But champions that have a shield, like Morgana, I don't consider Morgana like AP damage necessarily. I consider it utility, something like, you know, something like Karma, for example. So you kind of want to, zoning, utility, you kind of want to maybe go even like Dreammaker. Might be more useful because I'd say, okay, you do the damage with this one, but this one is definitely like more useful, I'd say, for team fights and stuff. Yeah. So AP champions, this is AP bot lane champions. This is your item to go. Enchanter items now. All right, so the following items have been removed: Chemtech Purifier, as we mentioned earlier, and Chalice of Harmony. Okay, so they added a new core item, which is called Glowing Mote. Let's see. I'm this one checking also in game. This is going to annoy you a little bit because it does take an extra space in your slot and in your inventory. So yeah, it might be a little bit annoying for you to play with, but bear with it. Okay, so Downcore. This is the first new item we get for supports. Oh, before I get to this, just something extra. I really like this as like thematic overall like this one looks super nice and thematic. It looks like, oh, you are like holding the map, you are supporting, controlling, trying to control the map, and then it becomes the compass because you're doing a good job, and then boom, you found the treasure, you made it, you're like, you were rewarded, and then the game giving you the choice to get your big reward. So it's kind of like also super Nike thematic, super nice. All right, so Downcore. Total cost 2,700. It's super expensive. I'd say already that might not be your first option to go, but super useful as probably a fourth, fifth item. We'll see. So 40 ability power, 20 ability haste, 150 mana percent regeneration. So you gain 3% heal and shield power and 5 ability power per 100 base mana regeneration. Passive, summon spell haste, gain goes to 18 summoner spell haste. You're probably already figured here by having this item, it means that your spells are gonna drop lower, like the cooldown of them will drop lower. So if you combine this item with Transcendence and with Lucidity Boots, it's going to give you your flash will go from 5 to 3.20 cooldown. That's huge, I know, but I still believe that it should not be picked immediately because it does give you like ability power. It doesn't give you health. It doesn't give you like that strong of heal and shield power, as it might be also more useful for you to pick first other items to get more mana regeneration, and then as for item pick it and empower more your heal, your shield power, your like through your base mana regeneration. So it's also super costly. It's super like expensive compared to other items. Echoes of Helia. So Echoes of Helia is an item that it didn't change a lot. It looks like damaging a champion grants a soul shard up to a maximum of 3. So basically, they did increase the stacks from 2 to 3. Healing Ocean and ally consumes all soul shards and restores 20 health and deals 55 magic damage. Yeah, they don't know, they even like nerf it or something. Hold on. Healing or shielding shard restore 20 health. Um Restores 20 per and deals 55 magic damage per shard. Deals 30. Yeah, basically it's a nerf here, but you have more shards. That's why you have instant of 2, you have 3. I'd say they do give you ability power here from 30 to 40. Ability here is from 15 to 20. I honestly think that this item wasn't really picked before, especially in high elo, not at all. Maybe this item is super like useful in low in still like in low elo, but I don't see it like being useful in high elo. So they removed the passive also. Dissonance removed. So yeah, extra. That's like extra AP you were getting from mana regeneration before. That's it. But they removed it. So I think it's not a good option. Now without mythics, we have a lot more options to combine with. So yeah. South Flowing Water was super strong. Let's see what's happening now. It goes from 2,100 gold to 2,300. Ability power goes from 35 to 40. Mana regeneration for 75%. It goes to 125. 15 ability haste. Unchained. They move the movement speed. Okay. So healing or shielding ally champion grants the user an ally champion 30 ability power and 10 bonus movement speed over 3 seconds. So it's stable. Like it's 30 instead of 30 to max 45 as you used to get, and it gives you 10% movement speed instead of like 20 ability haste. I mean, before this item was super useful, super like I'd say super like almost like broken because of the ability haste. But now they remove it and they give you 10%. I'm not gonna say that it's useless, like or it's a nerf for sure, but it costs more also. But I'd say that it's probably okay. It's sort of like balancing, but it's not like obviously an item to rush or anything. And it also gives you a lot more mana regeneration. So as I said, you pick this, and later you pick the down core. We can see that they are putting this into work. I'd say, like as you can see, Ardent Sensor also gives more mana regeneration. Sort of like they're putting you to buy those items and later on buy this one to empower your your heal and shield power through having more base mana regeneration. Let's see Sensor now. Sensor also costs more from 2,100 to 2,300. It does give more ability power. That's a lot more than Staff of Glory Water, from 35 to 50. Mana generation also the same as like Staff of Glory Water. Same ability haste. Same heal and shield power. Bonus movement speed from 5 to 8%. Okay. Now let's see this. Healing or shielding on a champion grants you and them 25 bonus attack speed more. It used to be 20, now it's 25. And 15 bonus magic damage for 4 seconds, and now it's 20 bonus. Yeah, slightly buff. I'd say they sort of like tried to balance those items. This one was broken and this one was okay. I'd say super nice balance. This one should be obviously picked and rushed if you have like a lot of like attack speed champions in your team. But they kind of like balance them with these changes. Starting items, not for supports, runes. All right. So So triple tonic at level 3. This is runes, okay? This is a rune. The perfect timing rune has been removed and replaced with triple tonic. At level 3, gain an elixir of avarice. So what does elixir of avarice do? On use, gain 5 true damage on hit against minions for 60 seconds. At the end of the effect, gain 40 gold. So I'd say this specific like part of the level, imagine it's level 3. I'd say this is good to try and practice on enabling it when you think that a fight is about to happen on the level 3, or let's say you have an advantage over the enemies and you get level 3, boom, use it and engage on the enemy, try to do something, try to apply damage when they're level 2. Sort of like it gives you a lot of burst, nothing crazy. It does give you sort of like trying to snowball a little bit, but nothing crazy. At level 6, gain Elixir of Force. Elixir of Force on use, gain 20 Adaptive Force for 60 seconds. That is pretty good. Adaptive Force is mixed AD and AP. Depending on what you are, you're going to get, like, let's say you're playing AP, you're going to get AP. So at level 9, gain Elixir of Skill. Now, this is the thing that we need to focus. Elixir of Skill on use, gain a skill point. No, this does not grant a level or modify the rules around adding skill points into abilities. Now, what that means, when you reach level 9 and you use this, you're going to get a skill point, meaning that you can level up your Q or your W or your E, of course, if none of them are max level. If something is max level, it's not going to give you an option, right? It doesn't give you an option for your ultimate. It gives you only option for your Q, W, or E. Now, this item, this specific rune, sorry, no, it's not an item, it's a rune. This specific rune might be useful on some specific champions. I have already thought some of that. I'm gonna let you know. So, let's think of first, what runes do we pick? We pick sorcery mainly on enchanters, and secondary we're gonna pick inspiration, which is going to include triple tonic, or we're picking resolve. So some champions can benefit from this one. Instead of picking resolve, pick inspiration and go triple tonic. So those that can benefit are probably champions that while during laning phase, you are going 3 levels on Q or 3 levels on an ability that it's benefiting your laning phase, and then you max another like skill and you don't max that specific skill. Now, let me explain again. Remember when I said that sometimes some champions are super useful to go 3 levels on, let's say, Q. I'm going to give you an example here, Karma. So you go 3 levels on Q on Karma, laning phase, to empower your laning phase and give the strong part, like put the strong part of Karma during laning phase through that ability, the Q. That's what going to benefit you in the lane, right? But you don't want to like max the Q because it's more useful to max your E, which is more team efficient skill. So here comes the Elixir. When you reach level 9, because you gave 3 points on Q and you decided to max your E, you kind of left behind your Q. So this is where this item comes in use. You use it on level 9 and you put that, boom, you enable it, boom, you put that extra point on Q that you left behind. And because you decided obviously to do that kind of a trick that you need on the laning phase. Another example is Milio. So with Milio, you do go 3 levels on Q, not on Q, on E, on his shield, because you have those 2 extra shields that you can put, pressure on the lane, and this is what is gonna benefit you the lane with through the Milio's E. So you don't though max your E because you sort of like reach to a point which is mid-core game and you kind of like get out of the lane often, so you max your W instead of like maxing that E. 3 levels on E, then max W, because that benefits most of the team. It's AoE, healing. But here comes again the Elixir. You use it on level 9 and you give that extra point on E that you missed. That's the idea of it. Because by level 9, you max your W, so you kind of get that, extra skill, extra level on my E that I left behind. And then you level up and you can level up again your E. So, yeah. This, again, doesn't affect the rules. What Riot means here, it means that on level 6, you're getting ultimate, right? On level 11, you get ultimate. That is not going to give you, if you use the elixir on level 9, that is not going to give you a point, a level up of your ultimate on level 10. It's not going to give you access to that. You're going to still get a point for your ultimate, an option to level up your ultimate on level 11. It's not going to like decrease that. It's not gonna give you that early or anything. All right. So it's just an extra point, which for me comes handy to the trick I told you about. Um, Tower Judgments, Inner Tower Health from 3000. I think those were the runes items. Yeah, all right. Tower Judgments. Inner Tower Health 3600 goes to 4000. Uh, Inhibitor Tower Health 3300, 3500. So they're kind of like increasing the towers and everything here because you do get the void links, the void mites, and you get some extra like damage with those um, when you attack the towers. So that therefore they decided to like obviously increase a little bit the towers and make them a little bit like stronger. Now rank changes. So let's talk about that. Let's read those. How narrowing emerald tier. While overall we believe the new emerald tier is accomplishing our goal of spreading out the ladder, the range of skill levels within Emerald is currently a bit too wide, so we're going to be making Emerald a bit smaller. This, among other changes, should also help you to correct instances of players' Emerald rank and above receiving more LP per loss than LP per win. So basically, Riot is gonna above Emerald is going to give less less points, but they also gonna give less like LP losses when yeah, like when you're losing. You will see the reason why they're doing this. I'm gonna like go more in depth. Visible rank differences. While promoting ranks was made easier in 2023, there weren't any adjustments to demotions, which led to some players having much higher visible ranks than their actual MR. To correct this, demoting has been made a little easier to help avoid situations where a player could have a visible rank of platinum but actually have a silver MMR. Additionally, we also made adjustments to matchmaking so that the range of visible ranks within a lobby are tighter. Okay, that's super understandable. Modify LP gains. The LP gains increased to plus minus 25 per game we introduced last year has done a good job of helping players move up or down a division with a session, which we are currently pretty happy with. They said we've learned that this amount of LP isn't sustainable in tiers Emerald and above, where breadth of skill is higher. Due to this, LP gains at Emerald tier and above have been decreased to roughly plus minus 20 per game. New player places, we've added how new players are placed in rank, which should place them closer to their appropriate skill level. So basically, what is Riot doing here with those changes? They are minimizing smurfing. With first of all, for those who do not know, they're gonna have 4 splits. I think we're gonna read that later on. They're gonna have 4 splits, 4 resets during the season. Wait, is it 3 or 4? So it's from January to March. January, February, March, April, May. No, it's actually from January to May. From May to actually it's 3. I'm sorry. It's 3 resets. Yeah, from May to September, September to yeah, it's actually 3 resets. Um Instead of like 2. So Riot with the 3 resets and with less LP gains and losses on higher than Emerald is kind of like denying the smurfing, meaning that someone that is diamond and wants to push for master, grandmaster, challenger, etc., they need to play a lot more games to actually achieve the higher rank. And they generally like try to also put those people to play more the game, and they want to avoid those people to reach as fast as possible in challenger or in master, in grandmaster. So they deny the smurfing. They deny them from like, oh, I reached challenger, I'm gonna go on a new account and um and just rank up again. You know, and that's smurfing obviously. So with 3 splits reset, and with this with those like small LP gains, you kind of like you don't have like much time. It's gonna take you like longer time to actually rank up, and you have like also a reset that is coming a lot closer through the year in the year, and then you will have to play again on that account. Sort of like as I said, they minimize the smurfing. That's why they did it. Because the two splits we had, it was enough. 6 months, it was super plenty time for people to rank up. And with those huge also LP games we used to have, people were able to go fast in Master, Grandmaster, etc., and then get new accounts. And if they were doing good, they were also getting like extra LPs. So yeah, they could like they smurf on top of another smurf on top of another smurf. Um, Dynamic music, they changed it a little bit, the music. I didn't know it, not as much difference. Depending on what like happening in the game. I generally don't use the sounds in my game. Um, Especially when I live stream, I use like my own music, so I have those turned off. In-game quests. So Riot added more in-game quests that do give a small, like really, really small buffs. For example, Hawaii with Jin, Belveth and Jax. Those are sort of like lore kind of, quests. You guys can go on the website and read those. I'm not gonna go like fluent on this and explain anything. Um, yeah, they're talking here about the splits. Um, Yeah, they're talking about the rewards here. Take on the barons. Game spectator changes. Okay, Mythic Shop. Yeah, I think we covered everything. That's it. Um, yeah, I'm pretty sure we covered anything. All right. So yeah, I hope everyone will do great on this new season. I think the changes looking super super nice. I think overall the support items are looking super interesting. um what I want to say and what I want to know before we end this video is that over the new multiple item changes, they give you the option to adapt to what you want for your team. Like you need the 1000 gold to actually like reach to the latest upgrade and decide what you need. There is a plenty of time that the game is giving you. You don't need to think of it at the very beginning, but it's super important to note that you go and read what they do and have it in your mind, so you don't have to spend time into the game reading them, because that's going to take you a lot of time. It's 5 items to read, so read them, know what they do, and when you're into the game you have plenty of time to decide what is going to benefit you more. Is it the celestial that will give me, the shield that will prevent the enemies from assassinating me as an enchanter? Is it like the I don't know, like what I don't remember the names. There's Zazax that because I'm an AP and I need to just go straight away into doing more damage because I'm playing Lux, I'm playing Zyre, I'm playing Brand, so get to read the items what they do so you can know what to pick when it's the time to upgrade. So yes, you have plenty of time to decide through the game what is going to benefit you more, you and your team. Secondly, um, what I wanted to say is that you have a diversity of items right now, and with those additions they did and the items they removed. But we are going to figure out on my streams and on games and stuff what is the best to pick fast after the item. From my looks, I'd say that probably items again like Mandate, Moonstone, Cerealia should be pick fast, and the new item they added, the Down Court, should be sort of like third or fourth. I guess it's still more useful to even pick Redemption after the Moonstone and the Cerelias, to pick Stuff of Flowing Water, Sensor. Situationally, of course, in the team, Ecosophilia should be avoided, in my opinion. Unless you are in low elo, you kind of want to pick this instead of Moonstone and Cerelias and be like, oh, okay, I'm going to do the damage with my Zona. But I generally don't really recommend it. Um, yeah, that's it. That's I wanted to. I think we covered everything. Yeah. So thank you so much, guys, for watching. I hope that I'll be more active on YouTube this season, and I'll be a lot more like trying out, be more active. I'm actually active on streams on twitch.tv/action if you want to check me out. And for more, and we're gonna go through my streams more in depth. I'm gonna answer questions and everything on that, and we'll figure out builds and everything together. But yeah, hope to see you guys on the next video. I'll be definitely be more active this year on my YouTube. And yeah, hope to see you again. Bye.